What's up, Power Path family? What is going on? We're gonna start here in just a minute. Today is what we were gonna do Wednesday, and then Facebook, kind of did like some kind of update, or I don't know what you want to call it. So give me a second and we'll start. So today we're going to talk about like building the dream team in the new market. So if you're launching a new market, or if it's your first listing and you're like, I don't even know where to start now, this is kind of like where you'll start. So even if you have like 40 units and then you need to start in a new market, like you pick up one in another state or even like 4 or 5 hours away, you're going to have to go through this process again, right? So bear with me. We will start here in just a couple of minutes and I'll get these slides put up. And in the meantime, if you are joining, because I know this is kind of like an impromptu live, like because we moved the training, I am curious, like where everybody's watching from. Are you at the job? Are you at home? Are you sitting on the couch? Are you in the field? Are you out meeting a client? Like, where are you at? What are you doing? Give me some info, and we'll start here in a few minutes. And there's Sean. What's up, Sean?
What's up, brother? You hear me okay?
Do what?
I just said, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. So we're live now. I said we're going to start in just a minute because it's a little impromptu. I just wanted to make sure that we are doing this week because I did have a couple of people reach out and say, like, did I miss the live? Did Facebook fix? And yesterday was so crazy that we couldn't throw it in yesterday. So we're just gonna do it today. So give me just a second. I will present this. Throw this up on the board here. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Here we go. What's up, John? Good morning, sir. I know John was probably one of the ones. I don't know if John reached out or not, but I saw that him and his wife were wanting to watch this one. So I tagged you both. I'm sure you got it. I tagged you both in that post that I made earlier today. But look, before we even start, before we even like get down into building a dream team, doing all of that, I really, 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 really want to talk about the challenge that just ended. So I posted, I'm going back and forth between screens, so like forgive me. I posted the 90-day challenge results and they were freaking incredible. Like I almost cried like watching some of this. Like I've worked with some of these people like a year and a half ago and struggling to get results, kind of like maybe it was the environment that we were in, whatever it was at the time that facilitated like that, like working together. But today, or well, I should say 90 days ago, we started this challenge, right? So like we have the Power Path community, which we launched it in August. And we said, look, we've got to focus on changing people's lives. Like we've got to focus on more than just moving the needle. Like the incremental growth, it's great, but we need some quantum leaps, right? Like we want to see what people can actually do when they're submersed into an environment and there's weekly calls and there's Facebook chats and there's all this stuff, and we did it. And Sean was in it. It was 13 people total in 90 days, in 12 weeks. Co-hosting contract created $780,000 a year in management or contracts or fees or whatever you want to call it. And that's not gross. Somebody asked me the other day, is that gross booking income? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That'd be like a couple of properties. That is management fees created out of thin air. That's what's crazy. Thin air. Almost $1 million a year. We're at $750,000 a year in co-hosting contracts created. Like, can you freaking believe that? Like, that's absolutely insane. So that, what does that mean? Like, Sean, I don't know if you remember, that is 32 deals signed, and that is 33 in the pipeline. So almost half of everything created. And we didn't count things that were coming in, like they started the challenge and they had these in the works. We didn't count that. I was like from day 1 to day 90. And I was like, if it's not signed by tonight, we're not included. That's what I said Wednesday, because you had one you signed the next day, right?
Yeah. They're actually signing today. So
we didn't include. Okay, today. Yeah. $2,300 onboard fee, by the way, which is like mad congrats to that.
That is true.
I freaking love that. I freaking love it. So when you look at that, I say this, like I look over here because I have a board over here. I got the 2 big whiteboards on the wall, and I look at it and I'm just leaving it up. Like $780,000. Like that changes. So like Hunter, for instance, and I talk about Hunter all the time. Dale is a big one. Hunter created $106,000 a year company in 90 days. $106,000 a year company in 90 freaking days. Tell me who is doing that. Dale, he's got 12 units now. He came in with 0. He's got 12 units. And part of that is like almost like a resort style deal. And he's got 7 in the pipeline. Like, if you want to change your life, get into a freaking community that's doing that. Get into a group, some kind of environment that people are actually doing it. That's what I want to talk about. That is what I want to talk about. So we'll get through building the dream team in a new market because all of these people have to do that, right? Like everybody here that picked up Dale, Hunter, let's see here. Joe went from 3 to 7. Lee went from 1 to 2. Lee has been working at it for a long time, and he got in it. He was in the challenge for a week, and he picked up his second deal. Not even a week. But it's now like, okay, you got the deals now. So we have building the dream team in a new market. So that's what we're going to talk about. Sean, do you have anything to add to that, like at all whatsoever, before we jump into this?
Seriously, brother, that was one of the best things I've ever witnessed personally. To be able to see that happen in that time frame. I mean, 90 days. You know, I got 3. Actually, we had 4. This one's didn't really count for that, but for me, it does. It's still good. But to watch Hunter, to watch all these guys, just like, and the cool thing is we've got our Facebook group that we're all chiming in and just, you know, kind of really encouraging each other too, showing up every week because you've been doing, you know, the meetings every week on it, a couple actually, and talking about doing that again. I think that's just, I don't know, man. I've never seen anything like that before with that kind of results and, you know, that short of a time frame where we always talk about what are you going to do in 90 days? What's your goal in 90 days? To freaking create a $100,000 business in freaking 90 days in co-hosting. That's insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm very grateful where we're at, where everybody went and that just everybody got some, you know what I mean? Like everybody won. And I love that, man.
Yep. I love it, dude. So at the end of this, I'm going to, so watch through this. We're going to talk about the next challenge. Starts January 6th, and it's going to be even better than the last. It's going to be the best challenge, period. And we're going to condense it to 30 days, and there's going to be more action packed, and we're going to hit $1 million. That's what we're going to do. We're going to hit $1 million in contracts, no question whatsoever. And I'm going to talk about because we're adding a lot of stuff to it. And the only person that really knows what was added is Hunter. I sent her a message. And I said, this is what we're doing on the next one. I didn't even send it to Sean yet. Sean don't even know. So you kind of know, but I actually put it in
Wait
words.
to find out, man.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that at the end of this. So do not leave this or go back and rewatch this. But this is absolutely going to be the best challenge ever created for STRs, period, in the world, period, until the next one. The next one's going to be even better. So, all right, we're going to jump in. Building the dream team in a new market. This is going to be more of a discussion piece. We got a couple of slides to go with it, but it's just going to kind of guide us through the discussion because there's certain things that have to happen, and a lot of them are just literally discussion. Like, it's just like how to do this, how to do that. What about this? What about that? And we're going to talk about some examples that Sean's been through. I've been through, the worst case stuff, the best case stuff. We're going to go through it. So I'm ready to go. So John, good morning. Vince, it is the level of personal attention you give people. I love you, and I will Venmo you the money for saying that on this live stream. So just shoot me your Venmo. I got you, brother. All right, let's see. Well, I'm going to skip through who I am. Everybody knows who I am. If you don't know who I am, I'll get on the phone with you and we can talk about it. But we got a hotel. We manage over 60 doors. We got 150 coming on. Looking at a partnership up there with 21 units in Maine. We have PowerPath. I was W-2 employee. Allie was W-2 employee. We do this full time. We change people's lives every freaking day. If you want to get serious in your business, in STRs, picking up deals, landing deals, growing, you want to put $780,000 in your revenue every year, hit me up. That's what we do, baby. We don't play around. Now, what is the main thing that you have to be successful in your STR business? What is the eyes and the ears for you in your STR business when we're running a property? Sean, what is it, baby?
Oh my God. Your cleaners are definitely your lifeline, man. They're everything. Literally. And getting
100%.
the good ones, getting the right ones, going through some that aren't. It's part of the deal.
Yep. If you have a bad cleaner, you might as well delist your property. We actually had a property. We've had two. I'm just going to be very transparent because we're all in this business and we all see through the BS. I've had two listings that bad cleaners were on. They were lying about things. The people checking them were lying about things. And we had about 4 or 5 bad reviews at the same time in about a week or two. And we got delisted off Airbnb. We had to fight it. We had, pending also. If you do not have good cleaners or a good system to catch your cleaners quickly, you will go down the crap hole with your listing. It will happen. There is no question. So then you got to work even harder to get your 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. But I had cleaners lying about timestamps. I had cleaners lying about actually they would show up and they wouldn't even do anything inside. They would use the pictures from 2 turns ago and they were submitting them with timestamp file. I was like, you're putting more work in lying to me than you are just cleaning the freaking property. So then guest shows up, takes pictures, pee on the seats, all this, all that. And it's just crap. So you have to make sure you find good cleaners. Now, Sean, I've had some of the best cleaners in the world. I have some of the best cleaners in the world. But when you get too much capacity for them to handle, you start having to find new cleaners. Now, Sean, how did you find, when you launched your first one, how did you find your new cleaners? What did you do?
Facebook. We went into a group in the area, asked on Facebook who were the cleaners, made a list of 6 or 7. I called them, had some interviews with them, and got it rolling.
Okay. Did you turn and burn any of them?
Every single one of them, man. We've fired 5 now.
Yep. On only what? On only 6 properties.
Yep.
Okay, it can happen. Now, what would you have done differently on finding your set of cleaners first?
I think the interview process has got to be something that you take very seriously. Turno is certainly a great place to be able to go as well. But yeah, I would say the having an interview with them and really talking to them, and then talk to some referrals, man. You can't take their word for it. You got to definitely talk to some referrals and just, tell me more about this person. You know what I mean? Have they ever let you down? Tell me a little bit, man. And one of them I literally just hired because I needed to get a cleaner in there quickly. Sounded like a good deal. You know what I mean? It's like
you got to do what you got to do sometimes, especially if you're like, you got a cleaner that's not responding, that just goes MIA, and you're like, I got to have somebody clean it today. You're just like, give me a quote, get in there, and then we're just praying that it's fixed or that it's good.
Yeah.
So first things first, what would you do if you need to find new cleaners? First things first, call a friend that's in your area. Find somebody in your group, in your network. So like if you're in PowerPath or whatever community that you're in, and you're like, hey, I'm launching in Miami, Florida. This is what we did, actually. We are we're picking up a bunch of properties up in New York. And what we did is I don't have any properties in New York. So we just put out a post in a community that we're a part of and said, hey, who do you know that's in New York that's managing? So we can call that manager and say, do you have any cleaners that you trust or that is looking for extra work or whatever? Do you trust them? That manager is not going to give you or recommend a crap cleaner most of the time, because if they are a crap cleaner, they're either on the way out anyways or they're just testing them. So they're not going to give you a bad referral. So start there. There's no question. So Joseph Curtin, he actually just put something in the group today about investing in South Carolina. He has 1 or 2 properties in our area, and we were just venturing out and looking at cleaners. So we put something out on Facebook, which I'll show you in a minute because we have the questionnaire on here too. We put something out on Facebook, and we got this cleaner. Her name was Debbie. And she was like, oh, here's the properties that I clean for. Here's the companies. And one of them was a buddy of mine. It was Joseph. And so I called Joseph immediately. I was like, what do you think about this cleaner? Like, give me something. And he was like, oh, she's amazing. I was like, done, hire her. They're like, you don't want to go through all the questionnaires and all that? I said, nope, just hire her. Just put her in there. He trusts her. She's been cleaning for him for a long time. Hire her. You got to make decisions quickly. So that's what we did. And she's been great. Absolutely great. Let's see here. Turno, if all else fails, so your referrals fails, your Facebook post fails, and we'll talk about the Facebook post in a minute. Turno is a great way to get a cleaner in quickly. Sean, you used Turno when you were trying to go through your others, didn't you? Or did you just get a whole list from Facebook? Oh, I lost you. I think your headset died. Nope, don't hear you. Just chime in whenever you get it fixed. So let's see. Turno, which you can see here. Turno is if you don't know this, there you go. I hear you now. But you're on mute. Technology.
Gotta love it, man.
There you go. Did you use Turno?
And I found that some of the people that I already had were there and looking to bid on the jobs too.
Okay.
So that's kind of the way that ended up going.
Okay, cool. So Turno, if you don't know, which I occasionally talk to people who've never heard Turno, and they're like, where do you find cleaners? This is where you go. Go to Turno.com. Used to be called Turnover BNB. They rebranded last year to Turno. It is a marketplace made for cleaners. So a cleaner will make an account. They'll go in. You'll make an account as a host. You'll put out a bid for a 3-bed, 3-bath, whatever. And it'll just tell you, like, you'll go here, find hosts, find new cleaners. That's number 1. Number 2, you're going to click find the next cleaner. Like, it's going to take you this, place or whatever. And then it'll come up with this page and you say, find your next cleaner. And then it'll immediately ask you the details for the property. And it'll ask you like location, size, all that stuff. So they can just give you a bid right over the app. And you may get like a ton of different bids, but you'll see them all kind of narrowed into the same place, especially if it's a very high touristy market. They can bid like that. Like, oh, it's a 3-bed, 3-bath cherry log. Boom. It's $275 or whatever, $250 or $225, whatever. You're going to get some stupid high ones and some stupid low ones. And from there, you can see what their ratings are too, like 5 stars, what their portfolio might look like, whatever. But that is where you go. So if you were in a fresh market with nobody, no good referrals, no nothing, you go to Turno. Or if you need something absolutely quick, you go to Turno. We've done this. Like we've had multiple cleaners just not respond, not show up. And we're like, we got to have this place cleaned like today. And we're running out of referrals. We're running out of this. People aren't responding on Facebook, whatever. We'll just go to Turno. Get a bid, get it clean, get it done. Hey, submit all your pictures, blah, 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 blah. And just move on. Sometimes they turn out to be like super awesome cleaners that you want to keep on for as long as you can. So this is a great tool. It can be your first tool. It can be your last tool. But Turno, absolutely do not underestimate Turno. No question. No question. Now, if you use Turno, Turno is a great scheduling app for cleaners. So if you continue, we use Turno just the scheduling side. We used to use Turno to pay them too. So if you're just starting out, you can have them hook up to Turno, even if they're off of Turno. It doesn't matter. You just tell them, like, this is what we use in our business. I need you to download the app. And if you do it and we pay you through Turno, you actually get paid immediately. When you complete the project, you get paid immediately. Turno will draft the payment out of your account 2 days before the clean. And it will just be like in an escrow account for them. And then once they complete it with pictures and all that, it will immediately go in. So that is a great way for them to say, okay, like it's a good incentive. Like, hey, you're going to use this app you've never used before. And I want you to continue through it and say, like, you know, this is what you're going to go to and you're going to get paid immediately and blah, 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 blah. But they can accept, they can decline the cleans. It's a really, really, really awesome way to stay organized versus like, and I've talked to people who have like 15 or 20 units and they're like, oh yeah, I just screenshot my calendar and I send it to my cleaner. And then if I get a last minute booking, I text them. And if I get a cancellation, I text them. And it's worked so far. I'm like, no, please don't. Please don't do that. Like, what happens when you're sick and there's a last minute booking come in and it's the same day turn and the cleaner doesn't know it and she thinks she has all day to clean and it doesn't get cleaned and you've got the flu in the bed? Then what? Then what? Please use a scheduling app. Use something like Turno. That's how you find them. That's how you keep them. That's how you stay organized. Now, back to what Sean was saying. So if you go through something like it's a referral, you're not really sure, you go through Facebook, you go through Turno, whatever, and you want to get on the phone with them and you want to interview them, this is the cleaning interview questionnaire that we actually, our very first cabin, this is what we used. And we still use it. This is a QR code to this cleaning questionnaire. Now, if you're in PowerPath, you already have access to this. It's in school. If you're not in PowerPath, take a picture of this. Scan it. It's literally the QR code to this. You're not going to have to fill out a form and get this. It's not a funnel or anything like that. Literally scan this QR code and you can have this cleaning interview questionnaire. Okay? So what do you ask? Let's see. Have you cleaned STRs before? So let's go through this. Have you ever cleaned STRs before? Why would you ask that, Sean? Why would you ask if you ever cleaned a short-term rental before?
It's way different than cleaning, you know what I mean, for long-term use or whatever. I mean, there's definitely a different skill set, different mindset that's involved. And, you know that they're ready to do it quickly and accurately and get it done.
100%. So quick scenario, I had a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Very first property that we actually started with, it was our personal property in a word town that was not an STR community. Like it wasn't like tourist area. And we had a bunch of bids. 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It was like 900 square feet, 750 square feet, $400, $350 for a short-term rental clean, not a deep clean, a quick turn. $400, $350, and we're like, what in the world? So we started asking them, like, have you ever cleaned a short-term rental? And they're like, no, I just clean houses, and this is what I charge. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So let me explain to you how a short-term rental clean works. Yes, you clean it. You sweep, you mop, you do the dishes, you put everything back, and you reset the house as quickly as possible. You are not cleaning ceiling fans. You're not cleaning baseboards. You're not deep cleaning the walls. Like, yeah, wipe them down, but you're not doing all of that. Like you're cleaning all the surfaces. You're moving through the house quickly from bathroom to front door, whatever. You're resetting everything to these photos and you're out. So it needs to be like 2 to 3 hours. You need to be out of here.
Yeah.
When you put that expectation up there, then they're like, oh, so we found a long-term cleaner. I mean, like a regular house cleaner. We taught them how to do short-term cleans. It's like $125 a turn for this whole 2-bedroom, one bath house. So it is very important to know, like, especially if you're not in an extremely touristy area, ask them, have you ever cleaned STRs before? Have you? Period. You got to leave out coffee. You got to leave out a soap dispenser. Like, you got to have to do all this stuff. Have you ever done it before? If not, cool. I'll train you, but the cost also comes with that. Are you familiar with turnover B&B, which is what it used to be called? Now it's turnover. So that's back to what we were just talking about. Are you independent or with a company? Local, familiar with the area? Are you licensed and insured? That's important. How many STRs do you currently service? Why would you ask that, Sean? How many STRs do you currently service?
I mean, let's figure that out. What's your schedule look like? Are you going to be able to do a same day turnaround? If you've got, 10, 20 properties that you're doing, maybe too many. Do you have other people that are helping you? I mean, just setting the stage so you understand and have expectations of what they can do.
100%. So understanding what their team looks like is very important. So if you get a good feeling about it or not, like if she says, hey, I have 2 girls that work under me, we clean 45 properties. I'm like, how is that possible? Or, hey, I clean by myself and I have 6 or 7 houses that I turn by myself. That is troublesome if you have 6 or 7 turns on a same day. Like if they all turn on Sunday and she's like, what will happen is she says, hey, I'm going to clean these 3. Can you move these 3 and just block them an extra day and I'll clean them tomorrow? That's fine and all until you start blocking days and you start blocking income. So like your other properties are starting to book up through the week. You now can't book that Sunday night. So understanding what their team looks like. How do they handle multiple terms? How do you do the linens? On-site or take them off? It's very important. We prefer everybody to do on-site. We have the capacity pretty much at every cabin to turn the linens on-site. We have enough linen, so if something does happen on the same day turn, it was too big of a property, they can just throw them in the closet or take them with them if they need to, start a load of laundry and move on. Also, if they take them off-site and they laundry them off-site, it may cost more money. So we had a cleaner team that did that. She paid a service to come and do all the linens, and it was like an extra $50 a turn. It was crazy. She also had an extra team come in and do the hot tub. She's like, my cleaners only clean. They don't do laundry. They don't do hot tub. I'm like, that's great, but like I have to pay you $400 for a clean. It should be $300. Like I'm pricing myself out of the market here. Oh, let's see here. Do you service and clean hot tubs? Now, this topic has slapped a lot of people in the face lately. They get a cleaner in an area and they have no idea how to service a hot tub. And then they're posting in the groups. My cleaner's amazing, but she doesn't service hot tubs. Who in their area services hot tubs? So now you have to pay $100 a week or whatever to somebody else to go service the hot tub. You can teach your cleaners to service the hot tubs. There is a certification or a class that you can do online. It's a couple $100. You can take it and you can have your cleaner take it. It's troubleshooting, cleaning, turning, chemicals. It's like, I don't know how many few hours long, and pay your cleaner to do it. Like pay your cleaner to do the time on get the certification. You take it too, and you can teach them as well. Utilize the team that you have before you start outsourcing something else. Okay, I don't care how good she cleans. I do not care. She needs to service the hot tub too, because you might as well just find another cleaner. And I don't care what people say to that. That is 100% what I believe, and I will take that to my grave. Okay, that's all I can say. Because when we expense too much money, we stop making money. When we have too many expenses, we stop making it. You're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur. Figure it out. Train your cleaner. Okay.
That's awesome, Kyle. When you do that, what do you give them an additional like $20 for doing that, or that's just part of?
Yeah. Yeah, typically if there's a hot tub on site, it is probably like an extra $20 to clean it.
Yep.
20,
Okay.
25. Yeah, because it is like if you do have to drain and refill, they have to do it first. They have to fill it up. It could take like 3 or 4 hours to fill it up. And they have to put the chemicals in it. Like, and the Smokies, and a lot of places is like there's a stipulation where it's supposed to be completely drained and refilled every single turn. Like in the Smokies, they have that. It's a regulation. I talk to a lot of cleaners that are in the Smokies and they don't do it. They only do it when it's like a little bit dirty or if it's a little cloudy, then they'll do it because not everybody uses the hot tub.
True.
And they're like, it's impractical to think I've got 3 turns this week. This property is so busy. I'm turning, 7 to 10 turns a month or whatever the case is. And I'm not going to drain and refill the hot tub every single time. Like, well, because half of those people use it and half of them don't. Like, hey, look, I get it. There's tricks and tips in the cleaner field. If you ask any cleaner, they'll tell you the truth. If you ask any manager, they're going to tell you what the regulation is, and that's what they do. It doesn't matter. I've seen cleaners. There's a big tip, like a big trick. Like if it's a little cloudy, it's clean, but it's a little cloudy, they'll drain it halfway. Then they'll fill it up. And once they fill it up, they'll test it, and then they'll throw the bromine and the shock in there. And it clears up. And they're like, it's not dirty. It's just been sitting or whatever, It's not human oils. It's just been sitting because nobody used it or whatever the case is. So let's see here. What else? Do you have a handyman you could recommend? That is going to lead into the other part of our slides today.
Oh,
So keep that in the back pocket. Sean, you know why.
Oh, yeah.
Because the answer is usually yes. So most of your cleaners, either their husbands or their boyfriends, or they know somebody, their close friend that is a handyman that can help out. Maybe they don't have like a handyman company. They're not like full service kind of thing, but it's like, hey, you got light bulbs that need to be changed. You got door handles falling off the doors. You got cabinet doors or whatever. I got you. So utilize your resources. Do you service other short-term rentals in this area? It kind of goes back with some of the stuff up here. Could you take trash off site? That's a good one. Are you willing to be a runner for supplies if needed? So this will also go into some of the other part of this topic. What we do if, let's say, John, I don't know if you do this. Let's say they show up and somebody got into the owner's closet because the batteries died. The batteries are in the owner's or in the supply closet. They got in there, but they pulled all the toilet paper out and they took it home. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but I'm just coming up with that. Say they took it home. You show up, the cleaner shows up. They says, "Hey, there's one roll of toilet paper in the whole house." And we say, "Okay, can you go to the store and get some?"
Yeah.
So you pay them for the time and the run fee. It would be like $25 to go to the store. Can you go to the store or go to the store and come back and just bring it? Whatever, like depending on how far it is, whatever. It's $25. So that's why you would ask them this here. Or there's dish soap that ran out and it's on order. It just hasn't been delivered yet because we ordered it too late or whatever. Or trash bags or something that you didn't realize or the cleaner didn't realize got too low. And now it's time because they spent 2 weeks there. And we gave them a couple extra trash bags, whatever. Doesn't matter. Are they willing to go to the store? Great. Gas station, grocery store, I don't care. Are they willing to go? That's part of your runner right there. Batteries, smoke alarm batteries, 9 volts, AA's. Ideally, you will always have the stuff stocked. But things happen, especially as you grow and you're like, hey, look, we're trying to perfect our system and this happened. We're changing services, whatever. This is what happened. You run out of something. It's okay. Totally normal.
Oh, yeah.
Do what?
I just said, oh, yeah. Or even picking something up at the post office, or if they have a place that you can ship to if needed for special things you don't want just sitting on, the deck, or if you don't have a deck that's covered or whatever. I mean, you need to have that stuff taken care of too, which we've had that done.
Yep. And that actually brings up a good point because we usually, let's say like we've had guests leave wedding rings. We've had them leave AirPods, tablets, maybe their favorite shirt, or whatever. Some kid left it behind. We've had kid blankets like loveys or whatever you want to call them, like whatever you call them as a kid, Lovies. Braden has like a little dog that he carries around. Anyways, doesn't matter. Babas, whatever you want to call them, I don't care.
You're Blanky, like that.
Blanky, yeah, Passy, whatever. And so they'll call us and say, hey, or they'll message us and say, hey, like, I think I left this here. And the cleaner will say, yeah, we left it. We put it in the cleaner closet. We don't know whose it is, whatever. We'll get an address and we'll ship it out for free. Sometimes depending on what it is, they'll pay us for the shipping. Other times it's just hospitality. We just ship it to them, especially if it's a kid's lovey or toy or whatever. Like, then I'm like, send it. Like, free of charge, send it. Because they love it. It's actually it's beyond hospitality, right? It's over hospitality. Unreasonable. That's the word I'm looking for. Unreasonable hospitality. So, anyways, we'll ask the cleaner to take it to the post office. Hey, can you go ship this for us, please? You know, they left it. Whatever. Sure, not a problem. $25. Okay, cool. Whatever. Let's see here. Are you willing to run what is your cleaning method? So, if you're skeptical of if they can do their job, you will ask them just point blank, how do you usually come in and clean? Where do you start? Where do you end? In my opinion and in my experience, and I'll say this till the day I die, I have not had none of us have had any good luck with male cleaners. None. Not saying there's not good cleaners out there. I am about 6 for 6 male cleaners being garbage, trash. And it's either they're just helping their girlfriend out. Honestly, and I'm gonna say it here, they're on dope. And they're needing some extra money. I've been through that. Well, they just don't. I mean, they're young and they just don't care. They don't even show up on time. Okay, so we had that at the hotel. Hired this guy, fired him in 2 days. Like, it's legit. So, what is your cleaning method? So, let's say you don't trust what they're doing. You don't trust their process. You don't trust what they're saying. Say, hey, what does your cleaning method look like? Now, if it's a hot tub's always first. And they'll look like if they know what they're doing. Oh, yeah, well, we come in, we'll do a full walkthrough, make sure nothing's broken, see the condition of the house. We'll immediately start cleaning the trash up. Like, one cleaner will start cleaning the trash up. The other cleaner will start, checking the hot tub, start draining it. If they don't mention the hot tub at all, or it's at the very end, or, hey, we just check it before we leave, like, that's not good. So, like, hey, they start in the bathroom, they start in the back of the house, they strip all the beds, they strip all the towels and all the sheets, and they put it in, they start the load of laundry first. So, like, you want to see what their process looks like, and does it make sense? If it doesn't make sense, they're probably not real cleaners. They probably don't know what they're doing, or they're fresh. Do you know anyone in need of someone to manage their STRs and ready to sell their cabin? So that is, you're asking for a referral right out the gate. Hey, do you know anybody else? Doesn't hurt to ask. Then your references and any kind of questions or comments. Now, what Sean said, get your references. 100% agree with that. 100%. I've hired more cleaners than known to man without asking for references. And this is our form. This is our questionnaire. And we're like, hey, it's cool. Just go. Just go for it. They seem good. We don't need reference. They lied all the way through that application. They lied through the whole interview. There are professional interviewees out there. And they will take you for a ride. There's no question.
Oh, yeah.
So referrals. So we talked about Facebook. This is literally what we posted just a couple of days ago. Remember, I had this ready for Wednesday. So this was like Tuesday afternoon we posted this. But I had this whole thing, so I took the screenshot ready for Wednesday. Or Tuesday morning, I think we posted this. Anyways, we're looking for a cleaner in the Suches area. So Suches is a sub-market of Blue Ridge, and it's like middle of nowhere. There's not much out there. We've been through about 8 cleaners on this one property because it's too far or they suck or whatever. And so this is what we did. We just posted looking for a cleaner in the Suches area. And all these people started posting. Mountain Magic Cleaning, Ashley Addison, Leslie Cleaning Service. I have plenty of references in very luxurious places and cabins. And we had like 4 or 5 DMs like, hey, here's references, here's my work, here's my portfolio, yada, 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 yada. They're getting more, like, it's kind of like hosting. You start seeing the more saturation and the more properties that come out and the more hosts that come out and the harder it gets to be like entry level with certifications and license, whatever. You start seeing the really good hosts going up and the side hustle hosts going down, and you'll see this big division. Same thing for cleaning teams. You see, like, they just do it on the side every once in a while, and then they actually start elevating. So, like, this response right here is amazing.
Yeah.
Marie Contreras, amazing. Awesome response. This right here of, like, Leslie's cleaning service, this is the most standard response you're going to get with just the name and the number. You may just get a number. Hey, call me. I'll clean it for you.
Yeah.
Kind of a red flag. Like, call me. I need some extra money. I'm looking for some side cleans, whatever. Like, I'd stay away from that. Read into the response that you're getting, because this alone will probably, half of these people are crap. Just to be honest. Like, half of the responses we got, we'll probably just cross them off the list. So,
looking at that, Kyle, it literally like shows, hey, this is pretty much what my work reflects.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, call me. Yeah, I'll clean it. You know what I mean? And then you've got somebody who's a professional that takes the time and says, I'm ready to take your business and I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like, call them first, you know, obviously. But you get all these other ones, and I've done that. Like, I just started taking numbers. Of, oh, cool. Let me call Leslie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you know, she probably posted first or whatever too. But the ones that take the time really does, you know, exemplify who they are and what type of business they are. Because most people are just going to pop a little, you know, here's my number, call me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't. Really don't, man. You're gonna waste so much time.
Yep. So we'll move on, but this is, if you're gonna go the Facebook route, make sure you understand what you're going for. Right? Like we posted this in like a really last minute time. So like we had a cleaner that was just not responding. The owner and the cleaner communicate on this property. And that's one reason that we've been through 6, because she has like super, super, super high expectations, but she's also like, she's very specific on what she wants. And a lot of cleaners aren't okay with it, right? Like we don't allow all of our owners to communicate. She is one of our very first clients. She was probably client number 3 or 4, but she takes it upon herself to do a lot of the lifting there. So like we literally lined all these people up. She's at the property for 3 weeks. We lined all of these people up, and she was like, I want to interview them. I was like, okay, whatever. Done. Like, here you go. So she can go through. I think we had like 6 or 7 people lined up for her. So we'll do the vetting, then we'll send them out, and she'll do the interview. So I don't recommend that across the board. It's a very unique situation. So if anybody's going to have the interview cleaner, the cleaner interview conversation, it needs to be you. All right, so after you find the cleaner, then we have to talk about the photographer, right? Because you need it to be cleaned to set it up for photos.
Yeah.
So when it comes to a photographer, there is, how do I explain this? There is a couple of different obstacles when it comes to photographers. Sean knows. Sean had a buddy of his go and take pictures of a place, and it just didn't turn out what Sean thought it was going to be, right?
Definitely not.
Can you tell us about it?
I mean, you know, he's a great photographer when it comes to like doing, you know, drone footage and things like that, and does like, you know, calendars, like really good. But when you're taking pictures, lifestyle pictures in a house, if you don't know how to do it, it's a skill set. You know what I mean? And it's a skill set I don't know how to do. So it's like you've got to know that you're getting the right photographer, like it says, expectations. You know what I mean? Show them what it is. I mean, I was like, you know, I want to have like, you know, a coffee mug and then it's blurred in the back, you know, and he's like, oh yeah, no problem. I can do that. I'm like, cool, man, let's go. You know, and It was a little more to it than that, but you get it. You know what I mean? It was like, this is the type of stuff that I want. I showed him some pictures, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that, no problem." And he was taking pictures for a real estate agent as well, and it was like $200 that they were paying. I was like, "I'll pay you 500," and the owner gave me 500, and I brought him, and I was like, "Yeah, that's not exactly what I was looking for." Let's put it nicely.
Yeah. So when you're having, it was a buddy of yours, but like, let's say, okay, it's time to get a photographer in a new market. There's a couple of ways you can go through to find them. Facebook's always going to be like your quick response, but you're also going to get like everybody in the world with a camera. Realtors, who takes good STR photos? Of course, referrals. Hey, who does your photos in the area? Who do you recommend? That kind of thing. Well, we ventured into Wedowee, Alabama, and there are no photographers for STRs out there. None. Like, absolutely none. So if you know Wedowee, it is a destination lake market, but it's very, very, very underrated. Like, people live there 6 months of the year. The other half of the year is pretty much dead. Or I'm sorry, people rent their houses 6 months of the year. The other half of the year, it's dead, so they move into it. Like, they'll move back into their home. So, like snowbirds, if you will, right? Like, they might go up north and they go down south or something like that. And we went, we put on Facebook. And we said, hey, looking for a photographer, short-term rental photographer or whatever in this area. And we had this lady that came in and said, I live in Carrollton. So if you know Wedowee, Carrollton's about 45 minutes away. I live in Carrollton, but I'll drive out there. I'll do your photos for you, but I charge this per mile to get out there and back, over 30 miles. And I was like, that's a new one. I've never heard that before. I've never heard anybody pay based off travel. And it was like $250. And I was like, okay, or like $250 plus the gas mileage, or $175 plus the gas mileage, something like that. It was like in the twos, I think, in the low twos. And I was like, okay, well, that's a whole lot better than we pay up north in the cabins, right? They're like $800, $900 for a photo package. And she said, well, the only thing I don't do is I don't do drone footage. I said, okay. Have you ever shot short-term rentals before? And she was like, not really. I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you 3 listings from our cabin portfolio. 3. And I want you to look through the photos because I want that style of photo. So they're called intimate packages or intimate photos. There's, of course, you're capturing like the amenities of the place, like depending on what it is. You're not just setting a camera up in the corner of the room and taking a picture and saying like, okay, you're good. They got a picture of the space. They can come here and visualize it. It's not like that. I want you to tell a story through the photos. She was like, okay, I'll look at it. Well, when I sent those to her, she called me back and she said, I'm glad you sent those to me because it sets my expectation level. Sets your expectation level. I was like, okay, sweet. So that's something like Sean didn't do at the beginning, right? Like you didn't take pictures. There was somebody on a call the other day that said they actually did that and the photographer was still crap. And that's just a crappy photographer. So like it happens, but then you have to figure out how to deal with that, like how to have that conversation. So we sent her the listings. We went through everything, and it turned out very good. And I told her like, you have a knack for this. Like you did very, very well. And then Brittany has a drone, so Brittany actually took the drone footage out. Like she went out there with the drone and flew it through the house and over the lake and all that, and she did really good. It's something that she started picking up on the side. So we were able to like kind of mesh those two together. And what we did, because that photographer doesn't edit like Starry Night or anything like that, sunset, we sent it to Box Brownie, which is here. And it's like, it's here. It's like $25 a photo. So for 2 photos, you could send it off to be the sunset or the Starry Night or whatever. And for $50 extra, you can have that done versus like some photographers charge $200 for that package. So and they probably send it to Box Brownie too, to be honest. Like, they just spend $25 a photo and they just charge you $200. So, but it's very important to understand, like when you're working with a new photographer that you don't have any referrals for, you don't have a website of like STRs or whatever, you have to set the expectation level. You have to. You absolutely have to. Sean didn't. He just assumed like, oh yeah, take a picture of this like intimate coffee mug and tell me how it works.
I mean, if you blur a coffee mug, we're good.
Yeah. So anyway, so you got to set the expectation. So send them listings with ideas. Send them anything you want. Any idea that you have, you need to have that conversation, not just over text message either. And then ask them, if it's a new photographer, what are their prices? Don't just expect a certain price. Do they have different packages? What do they include? What do they not include? And see if it makes sense. So like we said, the starry night and the sunset doesn't always make sense for $200 extra when you only need 2 or 3 photos in the first place. So save your homeowner some money, save you some money. Whoever's paying for photos, I prefer the homeowner pay for photos. Save them some money. Take the picture and say, hey, I'm going to go to Box Brownie. It's going to cost $50, whatever, and get it done. And then, of course, your turn time. So when you're talking to them, hey, how long does it take to get them back to me? This will screw you. It will screw your owner if you don't ask that question, because they never told you it was going to take 8 to 10 business days. And you expect 72 hours like a normal photographer. Should only take 2 to 3 days to get photos back. Sometimes 3 to 4, depending on how busy they are. So just have that conversation. We had, well, before I tell you a story, Sean, when you had your friend go back in, when he went back in, how did you handle that conversation?
It was tough. I just had said that, we really are looking for somebody who already knows how to do this or can do this stuff. And when he did the editing, there was just, there was a lot of things that were not understood on how to do it, as far as what was required and what we were looking at. I did have some expectations in there, but it just wasn't met. And I kind of just said it that way because we're friends. I didn't want to, dude, what the freaking hell? You suck. You know what I mean? It was just like, hey, man, I really got to, figure this out and get somebody who knows what they're really doing for this specifically. No, I bought his calendar. His calendar's awesome. You know what I mean? It's all like landscape, stuff like that as a drone, but it's not the same thing when it comes to doing it for a professional short-term rental and stand out above everybody else.
Yep. So did he go back out and do them and they were fine, or did you find somebody else?
No, he went and took a couple more pictures because I asked for, a few more. I was like, I really need the background. You know what I mean? I need this done. He was already out that way and stopped by and did it for me, which was cool. And then we just, that was it. I haven't asked him for anything else, and we've taken a couple pictures ourselves.
Sweet. I had a new property, and everything was on a budget. And we convinced the owner to get new photos because they had a listing, and I was like, they're crap, right? Your photos are crap. I just want you to know that. Love you guys, but they're crap. So instead of using my main photographer, which would have been about, I don't know, $900, we found a guy that will do them for like $400 or $500. And he had a good portfolio. It was online. He was with like this franchise is what it looked like. I was like, okay, that's interesting, So we called him. We said, this is what we want. I did the same thing, expectations. Sent him listings, sent him this. Hey, this is what we want. He said, dude, I do this all the time. Like, I get it. I understand what you're saying. I said, look, we normally use, virtual exposures and Blue Ridge. Like, I usually use her, Brooke. But she's like on the, I think I told him, I don't remember. I told him like she was super busy. I didn't say anything about price. I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, you're a better price than her or whatever. I think I just said she was super busy or something. I don't remember. But I just made a story up for him. I said, this is what we're looking for. This is what we normally do. And he said, okay, I got you. Not a problem. It's all right. Well, I think Vince just posted something like he waited over 30 days for very, very poor photos. It was very close to that. It was like a week and a half. And I was like, dude, where's this stuff at? Maybe 2 weeks. I was like, where are the photos at? He's like, oh, yeah, I'll get them to you. I'll get them to you. So he got them to me, and there was like 25 photos. We're used to getting like 75.
Yeah.
75 photos, something like that. We got 25 photos, and he missed the entire game room. He had access. It's an escape room. The whole cabin is like an escape room.
Wow.
So it's called the Escape Cabin Blue Ridge. So if you look it up, it's really, really cool. It's not like a luxury property or anything. Every room is escape room design. Like, it's really freaking cool. It's the whole Bigfoot theme. It's really cool. So if you wanted to stay in Blue Ridge and like really have some fun, Escape Cabin Blue Ridge. So anyways, he took pictures and none of them showed, like, it was like maybe one picture of the game room, maybe one picture of like one of the escape things. And there's like 50 things in here about the escape room, like 50. Okay. There's these little doors that you have to knock on it so many times. It unlocked. There's coffee tables that flip up. There's all this stuff. He didn't take a picture of nothing. And so, and I told him beforehand, like, hey, we have all this. I want this as detailed as possible. He's like, yeah. So we got him back, and Allie looked at him first, and Allie called me in there. She was like, we are not paying for this. We are not going to pay for it. The owners are not going to pay for it. This has to be fixed. I was like, all right, let me figure out how to have the conversation. Because that is a very, like what you said, is a very tough conversation to have. Because what you're telling somebody is like, your work sucks. That's what you're telling them, ultimately. Like, this is piss poor quality. That's what you're telling them. So it's a very difficult conversation to have. But this is how you have it. Okay? So everybody watching, pay attention. Having this conversation is very difficult. But this is how we had it. It's a very soft conversation to start with. Something like I called him. I said, hey, man. He's like, hey, did you get the photos? I said, hey, look, yes, I did. I typically get like 75 photos. Is there any more photos that you took that you just didn't send us? And he's like, oh, no, that's normally all we do. I said, okay, well, I typically, for every photographer we've ever used, I get about 75. On top of that, I feel like there was a lot of things missed. I almost feel like this was kind of like a rush job. Like maybe you were like kind of in and out really quickly. And there's some things that might have just been overlooked. And he's like, oh, well, what do you mean? Like, you know, explain it to me. I'm like, hey, remember what we talked about the intimate photos? There's no intimate photos. There's no pictures of all the escape rooms. Now, remember, every room in here has escape room puzzles. And we expected like really vivid, detailed photos of each one of these, but I only see like one. So I'm just wondering, like, maybe you were in a hurry or you just overlooked some stuff. Like, and he's like, oh, okay. So the photos aren't good. I said, they're really not up to our expectation right now. And he said, what do you want to do? I said, I would really prefer you just go back out. Just go retake all of the photos. And he was like, you want me to retake all of the photos I've already taken? I was like, well, you don't have to retake them all. I just need you to add all of the other stuff in. And he's like, well, look, I mean, like, I said, you know, some of these pictures are like really dark. He's like, well, the cabin's really dark. I was like, dude, don't play with me. It's not the cabin.
Yeah.
It's you. So I just said, like, hey, look, do anything you can to like brighten up those photos. Like, I understand we deal with a lot of different cabins. I've not really heard that before on any cabin, even in my dark ones. So anything we could do to like edit them and brighten them up or anything like that. And he's like, all right, I got you. I said, when do you think you can go out? And he said, I'll be back out tomorrow. I was like, done. I really appreciate you like doing this for me. You know, X, Y, and Z expectations, escape room, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, all right, done. He sent them back. They were all great. I mean, I still had like a couple that were like, but I was like, good enough. Pay the man. We'll use them. We'll move on. So they weren't $1,000 quality, but it was like good enough to say like, I'm happy. You know, let's move on. And that's what we did. And so having that conversation is very like, people don't want to have that conversation. I understand why, because you don't want to upset somebody, piss somebody off. You don't want to get upset. Like, you just have it as like you were a business owner. You were a grown person, business owner. What do we need to do? So have the conversation, set expectations. As soon as you see a problem in photos or lead time or whatever, hey, it's just, hey, just a soft touch. Hey, just checking in about the photos. What do you think about this? When can I expect him back? Yada yada yada. Have conversations like that. Don't get irate. Don't get irritated. Don't get arrogant. Like, don't get mad. Just, hey, things happen. Okay, people miss things. Good cleaners miss cleans. Good photographers miss shots. Happens. Some of the best photographers would say, no, I don't miss shots, but I'm just saying it can happen. All right, wait, before we move on, anything else for that? Sean, you got anything to add for the photographer stuff?
No, I just think that, the biggest thing that you can do is definitely have those expectations set up so that you know what to expect. They know what to expect. What time frame should I have these in? Like, do all of those things before you hire them and get them there, and then start asking those questions. You know what I mean? Like, you really do want to make sure it's an interview. Think of it that way again, that it's here's what I need. You know what I mean? Is this what you're prepared to give me? Type of a thing. You know what I mean? So you're both on the same page. It's just part of business in general at all is just having that communication. So I love the way you said that.
100%. So everybody else, right? So photographers and cleaners are the most important when you're building a new team, because you can kind of like spin off of those to get some of these others, mainly your cleaner. Your cleaner is like your anchor. You start with your cleaner, get you a good cleaner, especially if they have the network. Let's see, handyman. So we talked about this in the interview thing. So, or in the interview application. Handyman usually will come through your cleaner. Usually you're like 8 out of 10 times your cleaner will have a handyman. If not, you can look on Facebook for handyman services, and you want somebody with a name, somebody that has some kind of business name until you find a good replacement for them, because most of your handyman like companies are really expensive. So like, for instance, we didn't have a handyman at this one like location, and the guest reported, like, we had these guys in our back pocket. It was like this business that was in our back pocket. Great guy, did exactly what they needed. Like, he had multiple, guys under him. They always showed up when they said. They were very communicative, very world-class, very good system. I called him out to do, or the team did, and it was a cabinet door fell off a vanity in the bathroom. It was a brand new house. Like, I don't know what happened, but it just fell off. And the team called the handyman out there, and it was like $165 or something crazy to replace the cabinet door, to put the cabinet door back on. It was like $165. Something astronomical. I was like, bro, it's like 4 screws, like 2 in the top, 2 in the bottom. You're in and out in 10 minutes. He's like, yeah, well, we have like $125 service charge. Every time I'll step foot on the property, it's $125. Then I bill for hours. And I was like, oh my God, that is insane for a cabinet door. Like, that is absolutely insane. So when you start really running and you start really growing and you really have to focus on expenses, one day it makes sense to hire a handyman full time. So we have Logan that's between the hotel and the STRs. And I pay him a weekly, like a salary, if you will, every week. And we just split it between how much percentage we have of cabins and percentage of the hotel, where he's at, how much time he spends. And that alone will save homeowners. Now, that's an expense we take in, but that will save homeowners on the stupid stuff. Now, bigger stuff like locked and cabinet doors and like the little stuff, if it gets into like plumbing, electrical, and he steps in, that is a bill. We start billing back for that. So we actually have, we had a brand new property or brand new house. It's like $1.5 million home or something crazy, unfurnished. And they did a shoddy job on the tub. It was like a freestanding tub, and it was flooding the bathroom floor. And the builder was like, yeah, we'll fix it in like 2 weeks. So she was like, no. And my handyman, Logan, knows how to plumb. Like, him and I have plumbed a lot of stuff together. And we talked about, hey, look, what do you need to do? You need to take this part, take this apart, pull the tub out, redo the trap and all that stuff. And he was like, yeah, I can do it. I said, well, how much is it going to charge? And he said, well, it's $250. I said, okay. So we marked it up $50. I sent it to her. It's $300. Done. got it done in like an hour. The guest that was there, it was like a $4,000 reservation. And she was like, look, I love this tub. I would really rather if you can fix it today or tomorrow, like I would really appreciate it. So we did. I called the homeowner. Hey, it's going to be $300. And she was like, done, do it. So he just replumbed the tub. Not a problem since. But if you paid somebody to come in and do that, if you had to pay a plumber or somebody to come in there, you're talking at least $1,000, $1,500 to replumb the whole tub. So make sure you get your handyman locked in, and you know what they can and can't do. Some handyman won't touch plumbing at all. They won't touch electrical at all. So let's see. Trash could be cleaners, could be a local trash company. We have a lot of different trash companies in the area. And I know time-wise, we're a little over the hour mark. Sean, I don't know how much time you've got left, but just let me know, and I'll carry the rest of this.
A few minutes. I got to run to the prison, man.
Oh, you get the mindset stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. You can't just say I got to go to prison on the live. You got to say what you're going for.
Yeah. Right afterwards, though, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So Sean goes to the prison every Friday, right?
Yes.
Every Friday for mindset that you talk to a couple of guys every Friday over mindset.
There's like 5 to 10 guys that come out, which is pretty cool.
I love it. That's awesome. That is awesome. So just let me know when you need to jump, and then I'll carry it. So trash. So we have a lot of trash people in the area. We have like either the big trash company, which there's not a lot of because it is the mountain areas. We've got we got big companies. We've got guys with just a truck. So that's a lot more common in the mountains. And then we do have a guy that will pick up every turn, and that's a guy that we use across the board as like a backup handyman, but also he does the grounds at the hotel. So he'll go to a couple of different properties, and on every turn it's like $30, and he'll take all the trash off with him. So we use that, but sometimes the cleaners, like when we first started, we had cleaners that would take the trash off. But then the cleaners started using cars or SUVs versus trucks. And so they're like, hey, I don't want this trash in my car anymore. So we're not going to quit. Like, we're going to negate this. So we're like, that became a whole problem. Like when we started in this industry, that was very common for cleaners to do. They would take off the trash with them. And as that grew and more people started cleaning, we got a lot more pushback because a lot less people had pickup trucks. That's just an evolution in the industry. Hot tub. So find your hot tub tech. If you are doing hot tubs, understand how to troubleshoot them before you have to call a guy out, because they can airlock if they're filled up wrong. You have to put that water hose in the air filter hole or in the water filter hole. If you don't, it will airlock. And what airlock means is like the water will fill up in the hot. I could do a whole session over hot tubs. The water will fill up and then it'll start going in the jets, and it will go down the pipes in the bottom, and it will lock air in the center of the hot tub. And if the pump starts running and feels, it starts running dry for any amount of time, it will automatically shut down, and it will throw these crazy errors and all that stuff. What you'll have to do is you'll have to bleed. You'll have to crawl up under it. You'll have to crack open. There's like a little U-joint down there, and you have to crack it open and let all that air out until the water comes, and then close it, and then you can pump it again. There's other ways to do it, but that's traditionally how you're supposed to do it. Then brand new hot tubs, you can just sit there and purge it over and over and over and over and over again, and it will just constantly run. It'll run and shut down, and run and shut down, and run and shut down, and it will eventually do it on its own. So if it's a newer hot tub, it's a little bit easier, but if it's an older hot tub, you have to do that, and that's a pain in the butt. So find your repair guys, your techs, go ahead and look for them. Go ahead and have those conversations. Hey, we manage property. This is a rental. What's your availability? What does it look like? How much does it cost to come out? Yada, 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 yada. Clean should be cleaners. Inspections. So if you're going to use cleaner as an inspection, cool. But I would do that for maybe like maintenance. For a cleaner inspection, you could have something like a realtor, like that's looking for some side work. That's always a good one. You could use your other cleaning team. I don't recommend that, but if you want to really get in the nitty gritty of what they missed, you hire another cleaning team to do an inspection. Yourself, obviously, if you're going to do your quarterly walkthroughs, but we actually found a lady that would go for, it was like $1,200 a month. and she would go through across all of the cabins, and she would do an inspection. And we would not tell anybody when she shows up. She would just coordinate it with the team. Here's my schedule. She would do the walkthrough, and she would also clean. Like if they missed something on the counter, she was wiping it off. If she didn't clean the syrup bottles, she was wiping them off. I do not want something very, very simple to be reported to the cleaning team that she could do right there. Like, hey, you need to come back over here and like you missed sweeping in this little corner. Like, no, you can sweep it. I appreciate you. Just clean it while you're there. Brittany actually went out one time and there was towels in the dryer, and she was like, "Hey, I'm going to let the cleaners know to come back and fold these towels." I was like, "No, just fold them. Like you're there, just fold them. It's going to be 4 hours before they come back over here." Like, I get it. We need to let them know that they left towels on the dryer, but fold them. You're standing right there. So that's what she did. And then plumbers, HVAC, electricians, that is a very much a Facebook search. I would look up what your bigger – we've been through HVAC companies. We've been through 3 or 4 HVAC companies, and we're always looking for another one because we'll do change outs for owners. Like the entire system will have to be changed out. And we'll just call and get a bunch of quotes from a bunch of different people. And that has saved us thousands and thousands of dollars for homeowners to do that. Like I always say 3 quotes. But even if you get your 3 quotes, like go for another one. Go for another company. Somebody that can do a service work for you, and then it does well, and then they can quote you to change the whole service. We don't deal with a lot of plumbers, but because my handyman can do a lot of the plumbing stuff, and I can do a lot of plumbing stuff if I need to or walk him through it. But my maintenance guy has a friend that's a plumber. So if we need him, we can use him. We've had some spigot changes on the exterior walls from his plumber recommendation. And then depending on your area, electricians can be super expensive, but a quick Facebook search, Google search, electricians, electrical company in Blue Ridge in the Google search, and it'll show you kind of their location and their map. And if it's a big company, small company, you can find that too. But that's where I would go for those. So Facebook and Google search for plumbers and HVAC and electricians. Septic companies, same way. Did I miss anything?
I think you hit everything, brother. I mean, it's
Good.
definitely, there's going to be some things that are as needed, obviously, but if you can have them kind of on a dial system, on a relationship, I mean, that's also another part of this, as you're building relationships with people, not just asking them to run out and take care of something because they may not be able to get you next time. Treat them well, you know what I mean? Treat them with respect, get them to come out, take a look, talk to you. You've got these are people that we absolutely need in this business for sure.
Yes, no freaking doubt. So go to work, build your team. Sean, I will see you later. I know you got to jump.
Definitely.
We'll talk about the challenge here in just a second.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate you, Sean, and adios. So if you are building a team, if you're building a company, you want to get in a community that we're doing this every day, you want to actually change your life, scan the QR code. Let's jump on a call. Let's see if it's right for you. Now let's talk about the challenge for a second. The 90-day challenge was absolutely incredible. Actually, I'm going to take this. Yeah. So the 90-day challenge was absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. $780,000 a year. And I said this at the beginning of the beginning of the call. The $780,000 a year created in co-hosting contracts. $780,000. Half of those are hard signatures, wet signatures. Half of them are in the pipeline. So I would love to say 100% of those will close after the challenge. Realistically, maybe 80% will close, but that's okay because as the leads kind of fall off, you'll get more leads will come in. So I'm not too worried about it. But 32 hard signed, but $780,000, almost $800,000. I put a post about this out there. Almost $800,000 in co-hosting contracts created. That is absolutely just out of thin air. Just opportunity out there, money to be made. 13 people did that. Okay, so some people went from 0 to 12, like Dale went from 0 to 12. Hunter went from 0 to 4, but had 5 leads that came in during the challenge. Joe, Cold Stone Killer, silent killer came in the last week and told me I went from 3 to 7 with 2 in the pipeline. Crazy. So if you want to not just get a deal, you want to actually make some money and build a dream company, build a company where your kids are going to inherit, that your family can inherit, something that you can set up with the right systems, hiring VAs, having the SOPs, all of that included. If you want to do that, absolutely 100%, you need to do a challenge. There's no question. Now, what does the next challenge look like? Well, I'll tell you. January 6th, we're going to start the next challenge. And we're going to do it. And the goal is we're going to condense it to 30 days. And we're going to get over $1 million in contracts. That's what's going to happen. It's not a goal. It's what's going to happen. It's already done. Okay. So in the 90-day challenge, what we had is we had 1 call a week. We had, we had 1 group call a week. We had a Facebook group chat. You had SOPs on how to land deals. Like, we gave all that. And then we tracked you coming in and coming out. What we're going to do differently for the 30-day challenge is we're going to have 2 to 3 calls a week just for the challenge now, just for the challenge. So we're going to have 1 big group call, and we're going to probably most likely break out into teams through these other 1 to 2 calls a week. So it can be a little bit more accountability, because that was the biggest feedback we got. Can we have more accountability? If we had more freaking accountability, we would have hit $1 million a year in co-hosting contracts. There's no question. What's crazy to me is we hit 780 with 1 call a week. So imagine if we go to 2 to 3 calls a week. So massive accountability is coming into 30 days. So 2 to 3 calls a week. We're going to do another Facebook group chat so everybody can ask questions. I mean, there was crazy questions in there. Anything from happy birthday to I've got a cleaner question to I've got an owner problem to, hey, I just talked to an owner and I've got these questions. I need to do my 1-pager. Like, any of those were handled in those chats. And I think everybody requested us just to keep that chat going for them, because they still have questions, because they made good connections. They made good relationships. They made all these things. And you absolutely have to have that if you're going to grow a real business. If you're going to do this on the side, don't even like scan the QR code. Like, if you're just going to like pick up a property once a year and you just want to make a couple $100 a month, whatever your goal is, don't even scan the QR code to have a call. Okay, I really don't even want to talk to you, because we are action takers. We take this very seriously. We're here to grow business, leave W-2s, get the financial freedom, retire, like build companies. That's what we do, and we don't play around. Okay? So 30-day challenge, more accountability. We're going to have 2 to 3 calls a week. We are going to start with mindset. So we did a little bit of mindset through the 90 days. We are going to absolutely have more mindset coming in. So we're going to do things like self-image, journaling, self-affirmations to see where we actually want to go. If you want to sprint for 30 days to change your life, this is exactly what you want to do. Exactly what you want to do. Now, if you're in PowerPath, you're already going to have access to the challenge, but you have to be in PowerPath to have access. So if it's really worth it and you really want to do the challenge, you got to be in the group. You got to be in the community. Got to. Okay? Now, how do you get in the community? How do you have that conversation? Scan the QR code, shoot me a text, drop a comment below, all of the above. I can tell you that the people, every single person that was active in this challenge would 100% tell you there is no question this is the best thing they've ever done in their life for STRs and growing their business. There's no question. Absolutely no question. So if you want to be serious, you want to take this serious, you want to push through, leave the W-2, whatever the goal is, 20K a month, 30K a month, 50K a month, 10K a month, 100K a month, I don't care what it is. If it's what you want to do, let's freaking do it. Let's go. So if you have questions, let me know. I'm stoked. January 6th, we're going to start it. It will by far be the biggest move in your business, in your life that you've ever done by doing a challenge like this. And January 6th is going to be better than the last one. And the last one was absolutely crushing it. Absolutely crushed it. Okay. So anybody interested in the challenge, let me know. I will have a sign-up sheet. And that way we can track who's coming in, who's going out, how many you got, where you at, what your goals are. And we're going to include location this time so we can get everybody on a similar time zone too. So we had somebody in Hawaii who started the challenge, and he was 6 hours behind Eastern, something like that. So we had a lot of people in Texas. We got some people in Cali. Like, we got people in Colorado. God, you name it. They were in there, baby. So again, we're not playing around. It is absolutely amazing. And if you have any questions about it, please let me know. Again, you can leave a comment here. You can shoot me a DM. We can call me, send me a mail pigeon, whatever you want to do. And with that, I leave you and go take action. Go build the dream team. That's what we're doing this for. We want to set up a good team where we don't have to always worry about cleaners, always worry about handyman, always worry about this stuff. We want the team to be able to do it, to call the right contacts at the right time, the right day, and the right minute. And I will see you guys later. So if you need me, let me know. I will see you in the challenge. And shoot me a DM or leave a comment on here. So I will talk to y'all later.